Good day to you, all you DIYers. This is Outride the Darkness, going to do a little do-it-yourself fix-it on this washing machine. This is a Sharp ES-BG551 5.5. It's a Japanese model, so everything's in Japanese. And it's a bit old. Let's see. There it is. It's a 2005 model. So it needs a little fixing. There's two problems that developed with this machine. First one was the water level. You could use it on the 21 liter level and the 29 liter level, but the 37 liter level stopped working, where it would just not fill up. Well, it would continue to fill and fill but not start, so it wouldn't recognize that it was full. So the water level problem. The other problem was the agitator down below stopped spinning. So an agitator problem could be a belt problem, could be a motor problem, or the agitator itself has cogs in the bottom and those wear out. So I'll tear it apart and figure these two things out and if I can fix them. Well, for the agitator problem and for the water level problem, I need to get into the back end. There's a few different options that could be the problem. So I will take off this back panel and get to the inner workings and examine some of those things. Okay, once the back is off, I can go on the inside, and for the agitator problem, I knew the motor was still working because I could hear it, but I didn't know if the belt was good. But the belt is still there, and the belt is good. So it's not that. So most likely the problem then is the agitator itself, where their cogs on the bottom of the agitator wear out. So I'll take that off next. But the other problem is the water level is not registering for one of the levels, which means the water level indicator or pressure gauge is not registering for that one level. So it must be working for the other two levels. This is a tube that goes up to where the water level pressure sensor is. And by examining this tube, you can see if there's any blockage, but it looks okay. You could also take off the tube and see if there's any blockage, but just visually, to me it looked all right. And the pressure is based upon water from the tank itself. So it may be, the problem may be in the same location as the agitator problem is. So next I'll go and take off the agitator and look in that area. Okay, to remove the agitator, it's simple and yet can be difficult. you unscrew that center screw there and take that out. And there's a washer. But the next step in taking this whole agitator out is difficult. At least in these older models, there's no real grip point, even a place to put a screwdriver. So what I did, if you can see it, I put 2 screws in these holes, screwed them in. Various vent holes here, so I screwed in a screw on one side a little ways in and put another screw on the opposite side a little way in. This gives me a couple handholds, so I can now actually, just pulling out one, you can't do it. You need to grab hold of both and then pull the agitator straight out. So I'm going to try to grab this with both hands. Work it out. I pulled it out with both hands. And now I can lift it up and out. You can see the screws I put in there to give me a handholds on this agitator. On the bottom side of the agitator, you can see, maybe see, that all the cogs are wore out. There's no cogs here inside, so it's no longer spinning. And also down inside, I've cleaned it already actually. You can see 4 holes around the center spindle. Now there are 4 holes. All 4 of those holes were pretty much rusted shut except for a little bit. So some water was able to get down into the area that needs to force air into the pressure gauge that tells the machine how much water you have in the tank. So water wasn't able to get down in there very well, and therefore the pressure was not reading accurately. Now that I've opened up those 4 holes, cleared out the rust a bit. Water should be able to go in and register correctly in the pressure gauge, and I should have water level back again up to the 37-liter level. Now I have the new agitator over here. With the new agitator came a new center screw. And perhaps you can see on the inside, you can see that there are cogs in there for the agitation purposes. This should just fit. On there. Yep. Fits nicely. and I can screw it in. As you can see, I now have the new agitator in the machine. It's all screwed in. To review, I want to say if your machine stops agitating, but you hear the motor most likely is good, then it's either a belt or the cogs in the bottom of the agitator itself have worn out, and so that plastic agitator needs to be replaced. And the other point, if you have a water level problem, it could be the water level indicator sensor, which is actually a pressure gauge. That could be bad, or the tube is blocked. So in my case, it was blocked, but before it got to the tube, water wasn't getting into the area where it needs to force air pressure up into the tube to indicate the water level. So I had to open up those rusted holes. So that's an interesting point in this case. And that should do it. There may be other problems with your water. If you have water indicator levels, I looked on YouTube and I saw some other good videos about guys working on the water level pressure gauge problem. So please check those out. Have a nice day.